Good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from. Straight from the 909. It's Mark, myself, Isaiah, and together,
that's hip hop.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Today we're discussing a towering figure in hip hop. Best known for being a founding member of the pioneering group, A Tribe Called Quest. Q-Tip, unlike the aggressive or hard-hitting styles of some of his contemporaries, is often known for employing a conversational flow and invites listeners into a dialogue. His lyrics are reflective, they're intelligent, often weaving in social commentary, personal introspection, and a deep love for the culture of hip-hop. But today we're getting a more sensual Q-Tip. A more LL Q-Tip. His approach and style on this debut album, Amplified, released November 30th, 1999 on Arista Records, was more focused on getting the ladies to move, I think. More focused on the club, in the car, which is different from what we've heard previous. This album was his first solo release after the disbandment of his former group, A Tribe Called Quest, in 1998. The production was primarily handled by Q-Tip and JD, a.k.a.
J Dilla.
This spawned on the Billboard Hot 100 hits for Vivrant Thing and Breathe and Stop. The album debuted at number 28 on the Billboard 200. And by January 5th, 2000, it was certified gold.
Give it what you got.
Also, I want to mention U.S. top R&B and hip-hop albums. It went number 4. This album was 47 minutes and 30 seconds. And tell me first, Mark, how you first heard this album or why you chose it.
So the reason I chose it was because we end up finding out that this first effort from Q-Tip, his debut effort, is Q-Tip's grasp and Q-Tip's attempt on a commercial release. So not saying that this is a hyper commercial release.
Yeah.
This is Q-Tip's iteration of doing a high profile commercial release. The reason I chose it was because I kind of worked my way backwards with Q-Tip as the solo artist, because I ended up listening to A Tribe Called Quest first with a lot of it. But with hearing it, being able to hear it with the Microsoft Zune, I ended up listening to it and I'm just like, damn, this is literally Q-Tip by himself. Nobody else, minus, the features that he has on it. But you end up doing a lot of checks off of with it. You realize, wow, like he sounds, this is him on his solo, but this is also, when you hear it, you're like, damn, I sure do miss Tribe.
Yeah.
Because then you listen to the rest of the album as you get older and you're like, damn, like the guy was actually onto something.
Yeah, I think obviously with Five Dog, like they complement each other so well. So
yeah,
obviously it's like you want to hear them both together at the same time on an album.
Yeah,
but I think Q-Tip not only there's a lot of pressure. First of all, when you're trying to do your own solo thing, without Five Dog. Five Dog's a big presence. It's kind of hard to detach yourself from that and kind of go solo.
And even just doing lyrics, because remember, Ali Shahi Muhammad was really doing all the engineering and the production for that.
Exactly. So there's a lot of pressure, I think, in order to make a successful debut album coming from something that was already successful. You don't want to drop your first solo and it be a flop.
Yeah.
Coming from that. So there's a lot of pressure here. And I know he got a lot of criticisms for the route he took in this, this approach and this sound, because of it being commercial. A lot of purists were criticizing him, saying things like, you sold out, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this crap like you're doing now? This, Five Dog called him a Maxwell looking motherfucker.
This Maxwell looking at.
And you in that moment in time, you may have agreed with him, because we can't see it in hindsight 2020.
Yeah, because all you have to look at is the 2 music videos of Breathe and Stop and Vivrant Thing, where it's like Q-Tip's never wore any of that attire ever.
Now imagine this: like his next album, he comes out after that was the Kamal the Abstract, which was a whole. It wasn't even really hip hop; it was more jazz, neo soul, completely different. And although it was good, coming from a hip hop perspective, you might have even thought, "Oh no, are we like losing Q-Tip? What direction is he going in?"
The beauty about this album, going back to even what I was saying, like even listening to it now with an older lens now, because in 99, it was just
not that old. We're pretty young still.
in 99, the interpretation to any of this wouldn't have been our interpretation of it wouldn't have been just like it would have been negligible.
Yeah.
Like, because we're just at this time, you're talking about the Chronic 2001. You're talking about the emergence of Cash Money Records.
Yep.
So commercial hip hop was just in a different direction, all that. Then you have Q-Tip doing his solo effort.
Yeah.
The greatest point that I'd want to bring out, even before we break down the songs, is that the artistry of Q-Tip, this is the ultimate genesis of it. This is where it's not a prelude, but this is the first chapter of it, because the prelude always leads up to like, he did some productions and stuff with the Tribe Called Quest, did the Mobb Deep engineering for a lot of tracks, even produced a bunch of Nas's joints too on Illmatic. But I like to think of that as the prelude that leads up to this first chapter, because now you have the combination of what I'd like to mention as like the triangle of like a hip hop MC, to where he produces, he's lyrically talented, and his overall persona, his or her overall persona, is also with all of that coupled together, leaves him to this elite artistry, to where you don't get many of those people.
Yeah,
Pharrell,
produce,
Pharrell, Kanye, Madlib, and maybe a few other people that
MF
touch.
Doom.
And we're talking about the 3. We're talking about a unique, the unique character persona.
Yeah.
Can deliver lyrically and produce. That's the
Pharrell Monch could do it. He could produce beats.
So it's like you have these people that are in elite classes, because there's great rappers, there's fantastic producers.
Puff Daddy.
There's also there's also all 3 though. That's like the craziest part. So Puffy in the sense of like not so much lyrically, but he matches those other 2, where he's actually able to bring the production value up, and he's a hyper persona.
Right. Yeah,
so you do have a good point in that to where we can actually bring those points across too. But I've even want to even bring
RZA.
up. I even want to bring up the point of like, no one person does all 3 very, very well. There's always that like one that's just like lacks thereof here, lack thereof here, lack thereof here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
Circling back to that, is that the artistry of Q-Tip in this instance of like him actually having all 3, this is the first chapter of all that. And with Amplified, listening to it with like just the tracks of Let's Ride, Higher, Wait Up. So it's like you get his own unique take on lyricism, his own unique take on commercial, like a commercialized effort. So I'm really excited to bring this out, because it's one of the albums that I've been listening to for a long time. And like, I'm glad I listened to it at a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to start taking hip hop way more serious than just the commercialized shit that I was listening to. I'm actually going to be taking a more educated lens on this, because I don't like bringing it up.
And I want to mention for all those who, claim to be hip hop purists and, might say like, what are you guys talking about? This is like very commercial. This ain't the Tribe Called Quest type of Q-tip. I want to bring to your attention a couple of artists who then you have to keep that same energy for. ODB.
Yep.
Right. With, hey,
baby, I got your money.
That ain't Wu-Tang. Big Pun. I'm still not a player no more. I don't want to be not a player. I just crush a lot. Like Big Pun's a lyricist. Like he could go in, but even he went commercial as well. Yeah. And did some commercial, but he did it in the best way possible though. Yeah. Like if I want something to be commercial,
all the artists that you mentioned did. Yes,
and
absolutely.
If I want something to be commercial, and it's not a bad thing to be commercial, but as long as you're still you, that's the important part. Yeah. Big Pun, still him. ODB, still him. Q-Tip, still him. Yeah. And that's what we're going to find. That's the differentiator from, the person who's so-called sells out to go commercial. Between those who keep true to themselves. Yeah. And our commercial.
That argument never has a strong foundation from people who make those kind of comments either. It just sucks.
Fat Booty was another one that Most Def
like
did.
Most Def, Black on Both Sides. A lot of that album, on the forefront of a lot of these albums, lyricism first.
Right.
And then it's ultimately their commercialized effort their commercialized effort with lyricism in mind.
Right. I want to say that this album, because when this first dropped, this single of like Breathe and Stop, Vivrant Thing, I remember seeing that, and I think I was in middle school at the time. Yeah. I remember seeing that on MTV. MTV was kind of like the place where you get, the newest music videos and everything coming out.
Showed up on TRL a couple times too. I remember that.
That's where I seen it. This is actually my introduction into Q-Tip as an artist, because before that, I was too young to even, I was probably on Nickelodeon early 90s. Like I wasn't even, and so my introduction would be through like all that, maybe like I would see some artists that come through there, but beyond that, I mean, I didn't know a Tribe Called Quest. I wasn't grown enough to even know about them. So this was my introduction.
Yes. It's listening to Q-Tip first, hearing his solo effort right around this time.
Yeah. Now picture now listening to that, and then going backwards and working your way to a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah. And discovering, and the only time you discover that Q-Tip's in a Tribe Called Quest is the Scenario music video.
Right, exactly.
So that's that's a timeline. You'll be able to branch all that with the Low End Theory episode that we did, episode 2, I believe.
Yeah, start connecting the dots of our episodes.
So it's like it's a matter of listening to one solo effort first.
Clip it, and clip this.
Clip it, love it, like it, share it. But you end up, it's the timeline of like Q-Tip as a solo artist, especially for us around the 30s. Q-Tip as a solo artist first, going back and then realizing that, hey, Tribe.
It's like
check the rhyme.
It's like watching it's like watching the new Star Wars like series and then going back to Empire Strikes Back. It's like this is the oddest way to see it, or hear it. But that's the way I experienced it. And when I heard Five Dog in him, I'm just like, man, I've never heard nothing like that. That is just so unique and different.
Yeah. And realizing all the jams that you liked was like, oh yeah, that was Q-Tip. Q-Tip was on Check the Rhyme, or like like the songs you would hear like Beneath Apple Bomb.
It's so weird for me, because the first time I heard Q-Tip though was on Vivrant Thing and Breathe and Stop, which is not the way you would want to first hear him. Yeah. But I had no choice. This is the way I grew up. This is my coming to age story, where that's the way I heard him, and I had to work my way backwards.
Yeah,
but even then, we still appreciate even what he did on Amplified, because as a grown up, like we see him talking about grown things, Yeah. And I appreciate the fact that he brought the ladies in. He brought them into this world of wanting to have fun, wanting to dance, wanting to move. And that's what he accomplished in this.
Yeah, and then upon breaking down, as we go into the 3 songs that we chose, you'll see that what we mean by our statement of like, this is Q-Tip's commercial effort.
Right.
And just remember that. This isn't a commercial effort that Q-Tip did. No, this is Q-Tip's commercial effort.
Exactly. That's what distinguishes this here.
Yeah.
So talking about Q-Tip's style, we kind of talked a little bit about it before, but now as a solo artist, how do you analyze his style? and his approach to this.
So yeah, so with his style, it's a matter of the lyrics, and especially this is especially prevalent on this album. But the lyrics aren't dialed back, but they just take a back seat to the production value.
Yeah.
They take a back seat to the I'd like to say the theater of Amplified.
Exactly. The look, the aesthetic of it,
the
production,
idea.
mentoring J Dilla, because he's mentoring. So he's like teaching in a way, in some ways.
Yeah.
Of creating a new sound, this electric sound, which was very different. Like you mentioned, it has like some rhythms of a guitar, but also like this electric type of soundscape that, you know, it's different.
Yeah. And it's not even, there's no characteristics, even with all these songs, even the most prevalent singles on this Breathe or Stop or Vivrant Thing. It's like, no, these, you wouldn't think of them as
it sounds
singles.
like the new millennium. You know, that's how it sounds to me when I hear all these joints on there. It sounds like what you would think the new millennium would sound like.
Yeah.
He's bringing that environment to you.
Yeah. And despite the fact that we say that the lyrics take a back seat, it's much needed, because upon listening to the lyrics provided, it's like, dude, there's no other way to present these type of lyrics other than with Q-Tip style.
No, I would think that's the one thing is like some of these artists that we've covered, you know, we've had our challenges. Aesop, Ghostface Killah, Kambada, like all these Pharoah Monch, Bone Thugs, very
high IQ lyricism.
Yes, and it gets complex at times, right? And even when you're listening to in the car on a regular listen, you're not going to get everything, boom, first try. It takes a couple listen back yet to listen to.
Only with the Aesop Rock guys, they all get it.
Stupid. But now for Q-Tip, he's laid back, kind of more simple, but there's
things
still,
to it. Yeah,
it's still like there's still some bars and stuff where I'm like, wait, what did he say?
Yeah.
I start to rewind it just because of the slang itself.
Right.
And that being because he's, you know, from native tongues, which is obviously their whole family ordeal comes from that foundationally. De La Soul, known for the slang.
Right.
Like,
so it's a matter of actually, if you were there, you understand, because we're talking now. We're talking the lyricism, but you also have to have like a keen interest in the native tongues posse, but also have a keen interest in the current slang in New York at the time. And there's also this other layer of like, this is the way Q-Tip's delivering it.
Yes.
So it's like you had to be there in the 90s, you had to do all that, and then you also had to like kind of know Q-Tip personally at this point. Same thing with De La Soul, man. It's kind of like that, because they're just they're
just cool like that.
They're unique in that aspect. Yeah.
I think with Q, what was I going to say with Q-Tip, that's the thing about him. He is able to say things without saying it directly. Like we had an example where, you know, he says something about the back seats, like my canvas. That's where we get creative and, you know.
Oh, yes. On
as opposed to saying something like, let's jump in the back seat and have sex. Like, you know, it's more poetic, where he could easily rhyme something else very
vulgar,
easy and vulgar, but instead he takes the creative, poetic route, which is more challenging. And even though it sounds simple, it's actually still complex.
Yeah,
the way he delivers it.
Yeah, his lyricism, he's actually set aside a unique rhyme style to where, as you mentioned, the way he describes things isn't atypical.
No,
it's not atypical of real like super lyricists, but it's not also atypical of commercial lyricists. It's honestly Q-Tip's approach on just like trying to find different ways to go about describing things.
Yeah, which you have to appreciate that, because it makes things interesting. And it's fun. It's entertaining. On top of the fact that he's doing that on these commercial joints, which is just very different in itself, because usually commercial joints, you expect to hear things that are not as poetic. in a sense.
You end up hearing a lot of tracks that are reaching out for the mass appeal.
Yeah, more so.
But with how Q-Tip did for Amplified, this is his iteration. You'll clearly see that this is his iteration. I want to say this is also a time in 1999 where I think I did mention 99 Heavenly Divine.
Yeah, but he also reminds me a male version of Lauryn Hill. I wanted to say that because Lauryn Hill 1999 came out with The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She had some bouncy tracks as well. But she went kind of commercial, but did it Lauryn Hill's way.
Yes.
And she was very fly, very cool, and, special. And the same way Q-Tip is, like, not only is he fly and cool like that, but he's also special because this is a guy that we were talking about, one of the pioneers with that whole alternative hip hop style. Like, I could go that broad with it and say pioneers of that. Like, without him, you don't have Pharrell, you don't have J Dilla, you don't have Kanye West. You might not even have The Chronic.
Yeah, and we're talking about
inspired all these guys.
And we're talking about when A Tribe Called Quest gets signed fresh out of high school.
That's crazy.
So it's like this starts a timeline in hip hop to where, had Tribe didn't start this early, we may not have gotten a lot of these producers, a lot of these artists may not have given us their best take because you don't get him doing Mobb Deep's engineering, you don't get him doing a lot of Nas's production on Illmatic. Yeah. Come on, this is Tribe's now getting their just due. And dude, I'm telling you this straight up, like I keep it a buck.
Yeah.
When I was listening to Tribe in the mid 2000s, like early 2000s, people were like capping on it for real. Like I wouldn't get respect due. Like I would always mention him, never get respect due. But now,
wait, hold on.
I'm telling you, bro.
Hold on. So you're talking about in the early 2000s? This was the case?
I'm telling you that for real.
That's kind of crazy to hear. Because now it's almost cliche to say, what favorite albums? Low End Theory. Like it's almost cliche to say that.
Dude, I had to get screen print Tribe Called Quest t-shirts. Like I had to make them myself.
That's crazy.
Dude, just because it's like there wasn't any call for it at one point, but it's like, dude, I liked them. Like even post.
Well, early 2000s was a weird time.
Dude, it was nuts, man. Yeah. So it's like, not a lot of these artists were getting their shine because, like, even me holding the flag of like, dude, like I was always saying Rakim this, I would say this, that. Because
hip hop is so young still, so it was almost, and we're now just appreciating all of our early hip hop artists. I would say now at the 50th year, we're barely now doing that. Like Drink Champs is doing a hell of a job doing that now.
Yeah, peace to them.
Giving all the flowers to all these hip hop legends. But I will say, you're right, Mark. Like in the early 2000s, hip hop was at a place where we were forgetting our legends and moving on to the new guys.
Yeah, it was a weird transition because it was a weird transition because now you're looking at the G Unit, the 50 Cents, and then like the Dirty South had its time too, and it's like the crunk era.
Diplomats.
So this is a real time where it's like everyone. I would say that it was branching out very, very aggressively.
Right, you're right.
Different branches were branching out aggressively, but that also brought a shade to the lower branches that actually established the whole damn thing.
You are right about that.
It's just like that, and I'm real sensitive about it just because it was like, dude, Tribe's so nice, man. Yeah, Tribe was so nice, and I'm listening to it and like people weren't fucking with it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like it's
interesting.
Yeah, dog.
Well, because even at that time in the early 2000s, MF Doom wasn't really even getting that much love either.
Dude, it was like 2 years after Food came out.
That's so interesting though, because nowadays people are all up on Doom's jock.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s, it wasn't like that. That heavy.
Yeah, it's almost like people are just saying they like MF Doom without even listening to him or something.
I should just zoom in on you while you're doing it.
I don't know. I would.
So we digress back into Q-Tip and this album. We talked about just even the artist style already, but let's talk about the album cover itself.
Yeah, and it's cool that we're going to be bringing up his artwork for this.
Yeah,
because there's different takes of Q-Tip, as he's mentioned. You know, there's Q-Tip, there's Kamal the abstract.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, there's Kamal, and then there's Kamal the abstract, but then there's just the abstract, like he calls himself straight up.
Right. Oh, there was Jay Nice, who used to go by.
Back
in the day in high school. He talked about he battled ODB. Did you hear that?
Yeah, and then
ODB was like, "Where's Jay Nice at? Where's Jay Nice?" And he battled him. He won him on a bar saying "Dab Nabbit" or something.
Oh yeah, Dag Nabbit. Yeah. ODB did. Yeah. I would say that this is very typical of what Q-Tip would do to allude to the multiple personalities.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool cover. So for those who can't see it, we're describing the cover of Amplified. So if you want to see, you can pull up, Google it or something, or look at. If you're actually a hip hop head, you might have this album. Yeah. But the album itself has a Q in the center, top center. It says Q-Tip. But the Q itself is, it looks similar to think of Halo in a way. It kind of looks like a halo over his head. Actually, that's interesting. It looks like a halo over his head. So Q-Tip is standing underneath it. He has his hands out, kind of like he's I don't know, like Jesus, or like he's being blessed, or he's anointed. And then he has duplicates of himself, doppelgangers of himself, or clones of himself, but different personalities, because he's dressed differently on each one of these. One all the way to the left, he's dressed more like the Tribe Called Quest aesthetic. And then just more to the right, he has this big cap on. Kind of looks like Sway in the Morning a little bit with that. Yeah. But he kind of looks more intelligent. Then to the right side, he looks more like he wants to rob you, stick you up for whatever you got.
He's covered up too. He's the shiesty
all the way to the right. He looks more like with the fro. He's kind of more, I guess I would say, in today's type of fashion. And then in the center, it's kind of like a combination of all those personalities into one. This is his most amplified self, like I think you mentioned. I equate it to Fight Club, the movie Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know, there's different personalities, but it's the same guy. I mean, sorry to spoil it, but you should have watched it by now. But it's the same guy.
How dare you spoil a 20-year-old movie?
But Brad Pitt has the aesthetic of this. He's wearing this big fur coat, shirtless. You know, this is kind of what he is dressed up as, shirtless with the big fur coat.
Like the combination of all together.
Yeah. I think I mentioned how Five Dog, he was slamming him, saying like, who's
Maxwell? Like where he looks like Maxwell. Yeah.
So dope cover overall. I think we broke that down pretty nicely and got the idea of it.
Yeah, it's very simple too. Like the fact that it's just the less colors.
Yeah.
You know, it's playing. It's all gray, right into the center.
Which goes to the music video aesthetics too, because it's kind of gray metallic in the music videos too. So usually in these episodes, we cover 3 tracks. This is part of our format of the show. Some of you guys have asked, I was expecting you guys to play some of the music and stuff, but this isn't that. This isn't these YouTube videos that do that.
They wouldn't be up long.
You know, credit to them and what they do, because I like watching those videos too. But this is a podcast, and what we're doing is we're breaking down the artists, you know, their importance, the album that they created, and we're talking about that and the album cover, and we go into 3 tracks that we liked, and we go through the lyrics and see what they said and just how their style and approach to delivering the lyrics was. So that's the format of this podcast. If you haven't watched this video or these videos before, I encourage you to please check out some of our catalog of what we have done so far.
Yeah.
We've covered many great artists, legends out there. So please give us a follow even and share. 3 tracks that we chose.
Higher.
Let's Ride.
Mm-hmm. And Vivrant Thing.
Now you wanted to maybe touch on the first track really quick.
So what we had with Wait Up was an intro that is really not something that you would typically hear on a soul, like on a rap album.
Yeah.
But you end up hearing this feedback that you get in the beginning. So right in the beginning of Wait Up, all you would hear would be,
I thought
and it goes for a cool minute. It goes
I was listening to my on my car, like on the like right before work, and I thought something was wrong.
Sounds like your subs fried or something.
I was like, oh shoot, something happened. Like
but this is feedback that you wouldn't normally hear that loud. So this is the feedback that you're getting that's amplified to me.
Amplified. That's crazy.
So, but right after that, you hear the beat, and then you hear Q-Tip spit in the verse. So it's like, it's cool that you get this intro that is, it's kind of like leading into the BPMs of how fast most of these tracks would be. Too.
Yeah, because when you think of Breathe and Stop, it's like
stop for real.
Give it what you got.
Yeah.
It does the same BPMs. Yeah.
So we get kind of like this sample of how fast you expect to have this album go.
Like a foreshadow even into the album.
So it's just something, it's just a point that we'd like to bring up, because the intros on a lot of track, like, you know, there's going to be a slew of hip hop albums that always would have track one as intro.
Yeah.
And then it would kind of be like the skit. It would kind of be something of like, oh, this is the description, you know, PSA for Eminem.
Yeah.
You know, but no, with this, you don't have the intro track, but you have
the track.
You have something that alludes to like, oh, what the heck's it? He's playing a prank. Like every time someone's listening his first time, he's playing a prank.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. It's cool to hear that.
That's pretty dope. All right, so we're going to the first track, which is going to be Higher.
Higher.
Higher is the second track on the album.
Yes.
Produced by J Dilla and Q-Tip, I must say. So both of them collabed together on these. Actually, most of these beats, I'd say 1 through 8 they collabed on, and then 10 and 12.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind.
So it starts off the jump. Take you high, hit you, make you, hit you.
Is it higher? Like,
take you higher, hit you higher, make you. And then it goes, I don't know what to make of this. Funny brothers on my nerves type ridiculous. I guess I really got to do it. Put my game down. Hold the game, fucking blew it. Put my name down. And it seems you fucked up like a drug deal gone wrong. Made it out alive. You won't be that way long. Plus you is Bush, Leaguers.
Who do you think he's talking about when he says, you know, funny brothers on my nerves type ridiculous? Is he just talking about people from his hood or just people around him? Is he talking about Five Dog? Is it just a general?
I'm thinking it's just the overall people that are taking this album and be like, oh man, this isn't what we expected. You know, I'm really thinking, because he's doing introspective on it. He's like, I don't know what to make of this. All these funny brothers on my nerves type ridiculous. I guess I really got to do it. So this is him trying to prove people wrong. I guess I really got to do it. Put my thing down.
Yeah. You know,
Hold the game.
Right. So basically to the like haters, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words,
this is going to be your to the hater song.
Yeah.
And then he says, hold the game, fucking blew it. Put my name down. And it seems you fucked up like a drug deal gone wrong. Made it out alive. We won't be that way long.
Yeah.
So he's like, you barely survived. It won't be that way for long.
Right.
Plus y'all is Bush Leaguers. And I bet y'all ain't getting no Bush neither. So, you know, Bush Leaguers, it's like, it's a play on a lot of, mainly baseball, to where if you're not really, an elite team, causing many errors, not really being, to the status of major leagues, you're Bush League. You're just like, this is just, you're not.
But then on top of that, he bets you're not getting any P either.
Yeah. I bet y'all ain't getting no Bush neither.
Like that is the fact that he even referred to it as being bushy is funny.
My hood dog sings songs of rejection and pain. If we get sunshine, it's followed up with rain. So he's letting you know, like, hey, these songs also have the rejection and pain, but also know if we get sunshine, it's followed up with rain. So always appreciate the moments that you got, because you always know that there's always going to be rain.
It sucks that even he knows that, but like, you know, no matter what, his friends are followed by rain.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what they do, just a little rain cloud over their head.
Like to lay your chick down and get a blessing of brains. My man Skis knows you soft, so he's stressing your chain.
Stop already. Stop. Okay, this is one of the things I was saying about Q-Tip. this is one of the things I was saying about Q-Tip is that he says things without saying it, or he says things creatively, poetically that are just different from the norm.
Yeah.
You know, where somebody could just say, yo, I'm getting dome, blah, 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 blah. He's saying, like to lay your chick down and get a blessing of brains. A blessing of brains?
It's like modern day Shakespeare. Shakespeare's been real quiet since Q-Tip dropped.
That is the flyest way I've heard anybody say that. Like, that is just different. What was the next line? My man Ski know you soft, so he's stressing your chain.
Yeah.
He see the morrow through the shades of it might not come. That bar's strong.
So he's seeing the outlook of tomorrow,
like it might not even come
through the lens of it might not come. So this could also
heavy bar.
So this could also play to the metaphor of looking at it through rose tinted glasses.
Yeah.
So it could plays onto that.
Yeah.
It plays onto that kind of point, seeing through the morrows of the shade of it might not come.
That's a deep bar.
Yeah.
Got to get it all now because it might be done. Matrix, you're looking at the one.
So just to put it in context, 1999, this is where the Matrix comes out. You couldn't get a video of it at Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, the box office. It goes crazy.
I think I watched it like 2 or 3 times in the theaters.
Put everybody it got everyone thinking about this idea of are we in an actual reality
simulated?
Yeah. And a lot of people now present day want to escape the Matrix.
Right. Stupid. Mark just wanted to fit the escape the Matrix bar in there somehow. Fortified with the bona fide blasting of a gun. So these bars so far hitting.
Yeah. So you're looking at the one. So he's not even talking about. It's the fact that his lyrics, he's fortified, bona fide with the blasting of a gun. So his lyrics are because he's the one.
Right. And we know in hip hop terms, you know, the gun or blasting of it is also a metaphor for the tongue.
Yeah.
And you shooting off shots. You know. Fire. We in space for positioning, money and eliciting, living out our lives while certain cats just be looking in. Each bar, bro, on this so far. We bewildered off the sax on the green.
And so not even saying, oh, we smoke a lot of pot.
We bewildered off the sax and the green.
Not even say that we're high. We're just bewildered. We're bewildered off the sax and the green.
Whether the Bay, LA, or Chicago, or Queens, you better raise your game. They're coming at you high. Headshot, you said. You better raise your game. Don't ask questions why. They speak figuratively. Oh, then speak figuratively. I mean this shit. Speak literally, you win some shit.
Yeah. Verse 2, he goes, I dominate flows, I dominate shows, and in the nighttime, my dominance grows. So it could be the fact his ego, his Johnson,
everything.
Dominance grows. And you can see from the posture I'm holding.
Pause, is Johnson.
Yeah.
I just heard you say that.
And you can see from the posture I'm holding, yo, I'm reeing up while the rest is folding. So while his business is growing, he's doubling up, reinvesting
He's doubling up while everybody else is folding
reinvesting in whatever, import, export that he's doing.
Take this, right now while we can, this gem, this bar.
Yep.
For all those listening, re-up yourself as well. Just drop that in there.
Yes, sir. Re-up while the rest is folding. A hip-hop cat who's flown worldwide and experiences adventures like Poseidon. So Poseidon, the god of the sea. You always talk about flowing, riding with Poseidon. That's always the best type of bar you could use. Little Easter egg that we're going to be putting into here. Bump heads with R&B chicks. Give them one hit joint, and they're looking for the remix. So there's a lot of... The legend goes is that Q-Tip has this has a bunch of conquests outside of hip hop music, mainly with the opposite sex, and through what we were getting educated through our education via these interviews, we end up finding out that
he actually was with Janet Jackson too.
Yeah. So,
and that's a I mean the Jacksons is high royalty. That's like a Kennedy, when you're talking about just in the whole music sphere, you know,
Right.
to be with one of the Jacksons, Janet Jackson, the girl Jackson,
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty dope. Not a lot of guys can say that or claim that. But Q-Tip can.
Yeah, and it all started with you can see the early seedlings of it through Poetic Justice, where he's actually in it.
So and then that too, that also shows you too, he's not just talking game, dude actually got game.
Yeah,
to pull that.
And John Singleton actually wanted him to be the forefront of the movie.
Oh
so,
yeah, that's
Poetic
right.
Justice could have been all Q-Tip.
What's funny is that Q-Tip's role is the irony. The irony is that he's playing the gangsta, and then Tupac is playing like, you know, the
reverse typecasted.
Yeah,
both of these guys got reverse typecasted. So it's a cool point to bring up where he kind of like I'm thinking like just kind of writes, you know, a little to pump his own ego maybe, but bump heads with R&B chicks.
And even the term hit can even be taken as, you know, like the term hit and run, like, you know, hit it and quit it, you know, give them the one hit joint and then they looking for the remix and they're calling you for more, or they want.
There's even the guy Consequence, the rapper Consequence says that Rosie Perez was knocking on his door looking for Q-Tip. Damn. Like prime Rosie Perez, White Man Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump too?
Yeah, looking for Q-Tip.
Anyways,
so
back to the
give
show.
him one hit joint and they're looking for the remix. He's so good, in fact, that they'd want another hit.
Right.
The shit I spit, like Plain Clothes Days. So we're getting with maybe the stuff that everyone wears that you could find common ground with.
Yeah.
That everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
Surprise you legit, make your whole team freeze. I'm so irregular, ear on the cellular. Let's celebrate because your man is a hell of a.
Fill in the blank with a good thing to fill in. What?
So Q-Tip.
You know, it's funny though, because that bar, I think, can only work with certain people who can pull it off and deliver it.
Yeah.
Q-Tip has so much style, so much swag to him that this works.
Yeah, this is playing into the characteristic of the 3-point person that I mentioned, to where it's like the presentation.
You could give him some slack here on the lyrics because you know he's part of the production. Yeah. He's part of this whole thing, putting this whole project together.
Literally gives you the he literally gives you the choose your own adventure book where he's like,
yeah, exactly.
Let's celebrate because your man is a hell of a.
Fill in the blank to fill it in, like with the best thing to fill it in or whatever. Like who could pull that off? You know, there's certain rappers who can pull off certain things. I always like to reference Eminem. Only Eminem can say things and get away with it, particular things, you know, and I think that holds true here with Q-Tip. Yeah. And him being able to get away with certain things.
We hold it in because we walking with steel chins, blindsided up in your own reality. While we in the heat of the moment, fuck morality. So it's like, you know, when push comes to shove, like it's morals are out of the window.
Don't get it twisted. Like, you know, he might be portrayed as this good dude, but at the same time, like he's still from the hood, and you know, you could get it, you know, if it comes to that kind of thing.
So it's like, I like this. It's cool. It's cool looking back at these lyrics, and then you realize, like, yeah, that's why I started saying these for so long. Like so back in the day, I would always be like, "Yo, what up, ma?" Like anytime when I would like holler at chicks or whatever, it would be "ma this, ma that." So it's like, this is where it comes from. It's like, I really want to see you rise to my joint, ma. I'm looking straight. Don't see your eyes. Get my point, ma. So however you do it, I'm doing you back. So it says, I really want you to rise to my joint, ma. Like I really wanted to see you rise to this occasion. I'm looking straight. I don't see your eyes. Get the point, ma. Yeah. So he's looking straight. He don't see your eyes. So what position do you think the lady's in? Yeah,
there's a couple positions.
She's in a very particular yoga position, downward dog.
Yoga position. You're stupid.
However you do it, I'm doing you back. So he could also allude to, I'm doing your back from the back. Right. Don't misconstrue it because I'm screwing it back. So screw it. Like this is another. Like these are mad allusions to just having
saying it so differently.
Yeah, to having his approach as it. And I like this line too because it's rappers better count my presence as they downtime. I got to move around. I got no fuck around time. So it's like, So this is early seedlings of people rhyming just the same word at the end.
Right.
Because he did it with ma twice, but he says, yo, rappers better count my presence as a downtime. I got to move around. I got no fuck around time. This is, you end up seeing this later, even to present day where people do this, but this is still, it's a supreme lyricist to where you don't really get him. The first thing that you get is the lyrics. And then after the fact, you're like, oh, he said time twice.
Right. But then too, you couple it downtime, around time. So there's down, around.
Yeah.
So there's still a coupling there at
So
the end.
and then this improv tip of like him kind of like being in simpatico with the beat where he's like, yo, you better just get on back abstract and get high. Yeah.
I wanted to mention this, like there was criticisms. I read a couple of articles online where there was people like criticizing him on this. Or like, what's this shit? You know, he's just basically saying gibberish.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you could give Q-Tip some slack here because again, with back to the triangle thing, artists who or people who are writing articles or blogs and all that who are not artists themselves, you know, you have to understand from an artist's point of view, if you're producing the beat, writing the lyrics, and not only that, having to deliver the lyrics,
right?
Because your voice is your instrument. There's a lot that goes into this. So like I can give him some slack here, but also too, in this, he's being more, improvisational. You know, you like that. You like to see that he's just grooving to the beat. Like he's letting it just happen.
To his own beat.
Right. To his own beat again. And I like this because it shows you the beat side of him as well. Like the beat producer side of him, because he starts off rapping on the beat, you know, going to the beat, but then he at the end starts to just blend in with the beat. And it just blends in, which is, it's cool. And I think if you're not looking at it from that artist lens or the beat producer lens, it's going to go over your head. Yeah. And you're just going to think, oh, he's just, you know, he's lazy. That's not the case here.
Yeah. It's something that you can associate more if you are at the share a couple characteristics.
Let's say this, like for jazz artists, you know, sometimes they go improvisational and they just start like similar to this. So I'm not going to call a guy who's improvising doing that lazy. No, to me, I hear art. That in itself is still something. And
in a way, the spoken word is the instrument still.
It's the same thing. And in that, you hear later with Kanye West doing stuff similar to that. Probably Pharrell too. There's different artists who start to take on some of that. So that's my soapbox on that.
And then verse 3 still repeats actually the first like 8 bars of I don't know what to make of this.
That's actually cool. How you turn that into a hook. You
know? But what we really want to get to is at the end of these this last verse is that he's like, and I bet y'all ain't getting no bush, neither. And I bet y'all ain't getting no hoop, neither.
That's
neither. And then he literally has it fade out to that.
That reminds me of Diggable Planets. You know how they changed, like, I'm cool like that. I'm down like that. I'm
in like that.
Yeah, like
a piece like that.
Exactly. It reminds me of that. So dope track higher. I think this one was one of like each bar was pretty heavy, like dope. You know, that's what I liked about that track.
Yeah,
that it said a lot.
All of illusions of getting high or just very elevation.
Yeah, it was poetic. Like, so you got all that in there. Follow that up with Breathe and Stop, which is one of his singles. Breathe and Stop, for real, very catchy tune. Like that was like one of the first tracks or songs that like I heard from Q-Tip. Yeah. So this is my introduction to Q-Tip, and you know, it's cool the way I listen to him though, because it only gets better from that point. As far as like, the more I start to go back and listen to Q-Tip, I'm like, what the heck? Like,
because even further into his solo efforts, you see that like it's just exploratory,
True.
like just the Kamal, the abstract, and then the Renaissance, dude.
This was like, you know, Breathe and Stop was, it wasn't his, of course, it wasn't like him trying to go, like, this is him trying to get you just move, trying to get girls to move, to dance, to have fun. It was more lighthearted and fun, and just that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he was inviting you into that world, and he accomplished that. You know, that track wasn't meant to be very introspective or deep or have social commentary. Really, it was just meant to be fun in the club, like just to have fun, you know. And I think it's cool that we see an artist who did do all the introspective stuff with A Tribe Called Quest to now, okay, do something different. Now let's just see his take on it. So I thought that was cool. We're going on to Let's Ride. Let's Ride is a very dope concept.
Yeah. So the beauty about Let's Ride is that there's this urban legend, and, you know,
oh yeah.
I don't know whether or not, like, this is on some Paul Bunyan shit right here, because I don't know how, like, what the exact story is, but generally speaking, from what I've heard, told by a couple people, told by, you know, this, that, and the third, as Ghostface likes to say.
Word of mouth is.
Yeah. That there's a better version of Let's Ride. We got a really good version of Let's Ride. This beat is J Dilla's, like,
I thought this was it.
Yeah. So apparently the beat for Let's Ride, the most supreme version of it, actually gets lost or like delete somehow.
Oh.
So then the beauty of it is
that's
that
the worst.
Yes. So the beauty of it is that you get them like piecing it all together and giving us this version of Let's Ride. Which now the what if about this song is that what if we got the original?
What if we got
the better version? Yeah. Like, what if we got the better version? What does that sound like?
Right.
When Isaiah, you yourself make beats, I want to try to at least get the audience in the actual situation where when a beat gets deleted like this and the reconstruction process, framing all like, oh, this beat goes here, this beat goes there. How does that thought process go?
You know, one time, my friend and I, who I joined up in being a duo in a rap group called Kinetics, just high school little thing that we did, but we were recording these tracks on his computer, on Jesse's computer.
And put him on blast too.
One day he calls me and he tells me, "Hey, like my computer crashed." After like we did so much work in like recording, getting it right, like, you know, kind of fixing all the audio and just fine tuning everything. And then for him to just say like, "Hey, you know, that whole year's worth of stuff we worked on, it's gone." That is like the most
soul crushing.
Yeah, gut-wrenching news that you would ever want to hear. It's like picture you do this whole, for those who work with Excel or Word or whatever, like you type this whole big old project thing and you forgot to save it, but your computer crashes or something and you just like, you just lost it and you have to start from
work on it and a power outage happened.
Picture that. Like that is, or let's say you get for all the gamers out there who like to play these one-player adventure games, you get really far and you forgot to save it or something.
Or you got no memory card.
Yeah, or you didn't have a memory card or something. Like, it just sucks. It sucks from having to start all over from scratch. And I applaud them for being able to recreate that, because that
we're still left with this impressive beat. I just hearing that there's this better version hanging around.
That's amazing.
That was hanging around somewhere that they couldn't recover. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a really crazy story.
With Let's Ride, I want to put onto the forefront here is that with what we've stated earlier about Q-Tip's commercial effort,
right?
There's been many songs about vehicles. There's been many songs about the description of vehicles.
Right. Yep.
Q-Tip's attempt at one of these kind of songs is him describing what happens within the vehicle.
Right.
Predominantly.
Yeah.
And
the experience with his vehicle. It's like him and his vehicle have this this sort of understanding without really. And it's like him and this vehicle are the ones that are on this journey, but the vehicle's witnessing him and like his escapades with women and stuff, you know, and just how that's like taking this ride. It's the ride experience.
And even while we break this song, like when we break this song down, you end up appreciating like, wow, like we.
It's very poetic in the way that he describes and
not typical of a car song.
Yeah,
either, you know?
no, definitely not.
So verse 1 is brand new truck, but a soft seat, 4 point something with the low rotten something. Again, the really implementing that the car does not matter.
No.
Ain't nothing better than to ride out the hood with it.
Yeah.
He's just like the best thing that we could do is just ride out the hood with it.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it for all like those who really love your car, and you know that it's more than just a car. You know, it's an experience. It's your night rider. It's, you know, that's what the car is. You know, there's a special bond there that I think you and your ride has sometimes.
Yeah. Who looking better? And damn, you looking good in it.
Ooh.
Take a chance in the choice ride. Listen to the CDs I play inside. Mos Def, Jay, Prince, and Stevie, Marvin Gaye, Led Zeppelin, and Biggie. What a combination!
Yeah. And
then he describes, and when the evening is over, love, gonna find a nice spot for the rover, love. Do things to make the man on the moon blush. My mind race, but I tell my waist don't rush.
Okay, that bar right there. Do things to make the man.
Make the man in the moon blush.
So the man in the moon, is that like what is that exactly? Man in the moon
could be the face of the moon. It could be like maybe the presentation so grand that the literal astronaut on the moon, man, on the Buzz Aldrins of the world. My
first interpretation was like the face of the moon, like you know, blush or whatever.
Or Andy Kaufman. Man, I just see Jim Carrey.
That's what he's referencing. Yeah. Just a man on the moon.
Do things to make the man in the moon blush. My mind race, but I tell my waist don't rush. So just talking about the fanciest way to talk about climaxing.
Exactly. Like just hear the way he put it. That in itself is Shakespearean. That's not typical.
Dude, and we're getting to the Shakespeare part here. Yeah. It's like use an upper echelon piece, high regarded, high value woman. Right. Use an upper echelon piece.
Yeah.
So when you find a stash, then you don't freak. So it's like, hey, look, like you're this high class that you know if you see something of this nature, you don't freak out.
You know, a woman's special when she's down to ride. You know what I mean?
Dude, those are the few far in between those. Those are the ones you keep around. You want to nibble on an ear and do the things that make want to get near. Oh, I'm a Queen's representative. Get wild by any means my incentive is. Yeah. When we done, I start it up again and ride around with you because you my special friend. And then it goes. Me and you, I think we should ride. Come on. Don't worry, just come get inside. Come on. The chorus itself deals with the allusion to climaxes, sexual connotations.
Yeah. I like how it announces.
Just come get inside.
I like how it announces itself. The second part.
Oh, yeah.
My ride is like art. We get creative in it when we take it out and spin it. The back seat is the canvas we painting on. Abstract the word we creating on. The TV's in the back and the dash too. Got missed napkins and bamboo. Don't worry, the tint's past the legal one. Outcast banging loud in my eardrum. The way the wheels spin, cutting through the steel wind. Outsiders looking in with the ill grin. Fuel injected, brand new inspected. Emissions got tested, details perfected. Got the armor all touched. Empty out the Dutch. No tobacco spilling on my rug, klutz. Kick off your shoes. Show off your pedicure. Shake off the blues. We all getting more of that thing. Stuff that brings ecstasy, making you cling a little harder than your average hug and grab. Lady, tell me this is better than taking a cab. And when you bounce, tell all your girls you rode around hot wheeling, drinking no Earl. Vacation in V up in my V8. Vacation in V up in my V8. three V's there.
Yeah.
Just one night we drive and we escape.
Me and you, I think we should ride. Come on, come on, come on.
Top tier lyricism poet right here.
You don't get this type of description of vehicles, of what happens within the vehicles.
You don't.
I want to say that this is the most poetic,
descriptive,
the most poetic,
stylish,
like the most poetic song with a car mainly involved.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of them out there that are this stylized about what's within the vehicle.
Yeah, I can't think of one out there similar to that. Like just talking about the experience of the ride. Can you think of one?
Like not to the extent of what Q-Tips do, because remember he's talking about just parking.
Right.
He's not just riding around is just like,
I've heard
it's
rappers
part of
talk
the
about their low lows and all that. Yeah. Like, you know, even Mike Jones and all them, you know, they talk about
24's T.I., Move Bitch, Ludacris.
But like who talks about it in this fashion? Like,
dude, this is the, I'm saying like he's a pioneer in the fact of like, this is the most poetic car song ever in hip hop, because you don't get you don't get that kind of beat, you don't get that kind of presentation from Tip, and like granted you don't get that lyricism, because talking more about the vehicle you lose the lyricism about it, because you're talking about again like what everyone else talked about, your 24-inch rims, your the spinners, you're talking about the roof back, you know, like the sound system. Q-Tip's talking about what's in like what's inside.
I can't even think of one. I can't. Maybe somebody in the comments if you can, but I really can't think of one. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last track, which is going to be Vivrant Thing.
Yeah.
It's a vibrant thing. This whole thing is a vibrant thing.
Check it out. Nah. Guitar riff sample. You don't.
This whole, even the hook itself or the title of the track, that's his own slang even.
Yeah.
Combining the word, vibe with vivish, like what was it?
Well, vibrant.
Vibrant.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it's gonna be that, but it's its own word itself too, which is cool. Like it's a whole thing. That in itself just shows you though, like this. Of course, he's gonna do this. He's comes from the native tongues. Vivant and vibrant. Yeah. That's what it was. That's pretty dope. So Vivrant Thing is his own little thing. It never really did catch on though as like a term everybody used really though. It was still more glued to Q-Tip slang. Yeah, and then it's kind of corny if you end up like, you use a Vivrant Thing. Like, what do you think you are? You think Q-Tip or what do you like? Q-Tip. Like yeah. It's so him that it's like it's very him. So yeah, that's dope. This is a real iconic couple of bars. A lot of people will know it without knowing a lot of it, but it goes, it's a special girl, real good girl, biggest thing in my itty bitty world. Called her up, she made me feel right. Wish for bliss, would never take flight. Sitting back with this mic in my hand, spitting hot shit, trying to see grand. Imprinted on my mind every minute. Make my plans and you always in it, yo. So talking about how beautiful, special this girl is, no matter what I'm doing, even if I'm performing at a show, when he says he wants her in the plans. With this mic in my hand, spitting hot shit, trying to see grand, letting you know like, hey, I'm at the show performing. Right. Imprinted on my mind every minute. She's there all the time. Make my plans and you always in it. Yeah. She's special. I like the bar where he said, wish for bliss could never take flight. Yeah. I think my interpretation of that is, you know, wishful thinking doesn't really get you anywhere. Mm-mm. You have to actually make the call, make the plans, make it happen. The call to action. Right. It's the phrase, it probably plays it to the phrase, the call to action. Right. So that was a dope bar. And the chorus is such a vibrant thing. Vibrant thing. The beat really helps because even the beat itself helps carry that, because the part where he pauses plays into the riffs. Yeah. So that helps with that whole thing. Yeah. Verse 2, even though we both fly, give each other space and not the evil eye, acting like grown-ups. Don't even try to hide because the spot blown up. Girlfriend telling you she want to see. I say, I don't know, but you say gladly.
And when we both do hit, we go on and on and on and on. Sweeter than Ben and Jerry. Can I rhyme? Well, you know I gets mine. Sitting around in the abstract car. This abstract thing going abstract far, yo.
So I like the fact that he is acting like grown-ups is like the whole summation of this verse, because it's like he's giving each other space and not the evil eye.
Right.
So
who's saying that in a commercial
hit?
Like,
and the phrase goes, idle hands do the devil's work.
Right.
So it's like if a gentleman and a lady are doing their own thing and they meet up together, they're not really doing anything anything evil. And the evil that comes from that is that if you end up like being too much along with your chick or like doing all that, you end up like stemming, you end up getting
toxicity.
this,
Like it you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You also get the, you end up doing, you end up having this not remorse, but angst about the relationship because you're hanging around too much. Like the fact that
you're saying that you're forcing it rather than letting something naturally.
And the reasons that you guys loved each other or liked each other because you're independent lives.
Right.
So he's like acting like grown-ups and not the evil eye. So it's like not being gluttonous in the fact of like concentrating on each other in the relationship.
Which is just you explaining that in itself just shows you how heavy of a bar that is. You know what I mean? That's maturity speaking.
It's like a delayed punchline. It's like, it's a punchline that's giving out dividends because here we are like really playing on it.
In a long relationship too? Like from what I heard, I've heard he's been in a long relationship even. So, I mean, if that's the case, then that just hits even harder, this bar, if that's the case.
So it's girlfriend tells you she want to see, I don't know, but she says gladly. Even relates on the fact of like, and
like he's kind of the more one like letting her come to him more so, where he's like, I don't know, and she's like, no, I'll gladly want to see you, and
really getting into elementary style punchlines. But it's like, dude, it's cool because it's sweeter than Ben and Jerry,
right?
And I like the can I rhyme? Well, you know I gets mine, because it goes into the two songs from A Tribe Called Quest, Check the Rhyme and Can I Kick It?
That's
Can I rhyme? So it's like, it's a cool little Easter egg into both those songs. So it's like kind of like the tipping of the hat to Tribe.
It's kind of
sitting around in my abstract car. This abstract thing going abstract.
Talking about the car from the last track, the Let's Ride.
Yeah. Such vibrant thing. Vibrant thing. So verse 3. Getting back to my MC status, all the willy that I kick, make the other maddets move into your own town and situation. Shorty thought she was subtle, but she really was blatant. So the very polar opposite of subtle, blatant.
Right.
When she shook a thing and violated. Now these wolf-like thoughts are formulated. So it's showing the fact that like, hey, as soon as women start doing these seductive things,
he's already starting to have thoughts about it.
Start having these thoughts, these wolf-like thoughts, these predator-like thoughts.
Right,
of,
exactly.
You know, it goes down to women being the prey. You know,
we get it.
I'm saying, yo, is this some heartfelt shit here? Am I a strong black? Well, shit, yeah. So he's like trying to reassure himself of like, hey, look, like
think about this in this commercial song. Like who's like having these inner thoughts?
It's either one way that you're like really lusting over a chick, but it's like, no, this guy's actually
the conflict that he's going through.
When she's doing it in the song, it's like, man, now I'm having a conflict. Like what? Like you don't want to have conflict on a commercial song like this.
That's dope.
But again,
that's Q-Tip.
This is going to
that's Q-Tip right there.
And so he's trying to like justify this all. Plus we can hold a convo or go to the movies, my crib, whatever, yo. I just want to see you by my side. We on 95. Know the stash is in the ride. A rapping for real. You'd find me in a cypher if I didn't cop a deal. Rap slate like big weight. You buy, I sell. We split big cake. Such a vibrant thing. The piece to them doing that. I remember they did a skit on Chappelle's show called Knee High Park, where they did the bootleg Sesame people, and Q-Tip shows up on it. Q-Tip at the end. There's it's a VD thing because they talked about venereal diseases. At the end, he like
peace to him for doing that. That's dope.
Him and Dave Chappelle were so cool that like there was this idea of like, hey, can you know how you did Vivrant Thing? Can you do it's a VD thing? So him and all at the end of the skit, they're all clowning. It's a VD thing.
That's so stupid.
VD thing.
That's
So,
a
yeah.
dumb one. Yeah,
But
that's stupid.
again, we have the most commercial type of song that Q-Tip can do,
Yeah.
but you're dealing with the conflict of like lust,
Right.
the conflict of relationship relationship issues.
Right. Yeah. Because you know,
Not typical.
yeah, everyone wants it to be real, the real thing, and at the same time, he's seen her, you know, violating so much with it, you know, that he's starting to now go into like, you know, what is this?
What,
Like,
what did I fall in love with her?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how did
yeah.
I fall in love with her again?
it's pretty dope. It's pretty
Yeah,
dope.
you don't get that from a lot of MCs on commercial songs like this. This is again.
It's
there's
tucked
always
in
going to
there.
be songs about this. There's always going to be the conflicting songs about this. But we're looking at the backdrop again, guys. About this is a commercial effort.
Right. Exactly.
This is a commercial. This is one of his singles.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's pretty interesting about it. Like
breaking down a song like this and like getting to the roots of it, but it's a trip because you're hearing it and you're like,
don't. Yeah, it's a lot of bounce to it. Yeah, that's just funny.
yeah, man.
So overall, your takeaways on this album?
I like hearing amplified from time to time. This is the reason why I keep this keep this album on my rotation along with like different artists, because it's like I don't want to exhaust the value and the quality that I get from listening to this.
Yeah.
Listening to an album like Amplified, it's like you get almost all the tracks are just straight up like you don't have to skip on any, you know, but you also get the lore of this.
Yeah.
You also get the lore of the fact, dude, Dilla produced this. This is early Dilla.
Yeah,
this is
that's
early
what's
Tip.
crazy.
This
I never knew that Dilla was a part of this. You know, I didn't know that.
And you know what? Like the lore of this album, coupled with the fact that it's really an awesome listen to it. It's
fun. It's a fun album. I think it and especially when you want to play something that the ladies can enjoy or move to, like it accomplishes. It's a good balance because
Tribe can't do that for you on the
not all of them. There's a few tracks here and there.
They're singles, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact is that you needed this all together with Q-Tip because you know what? We wanted to discover how special he really was.
Yeah, to be in that stratosphere, it's hard to break out especially from a Tribe Called Quest and do it on your own.
Yeah.
It's hard because Phife Dawg, he has a pretty unique voice himself, and it's hard to try to do something with him leaving that void, you know, and trying to make your own.
Rest in peace, Phife Dawg and J Dilla.
Yeah, both of those guys, man, both legends.
What'd you think about the album?
No, overall, I liked it. I liked the, you know, for me, it's nostalgia because it takes me back to 1999, which to me was a very cool year. You know, the Y2K, millennium, the new millennium thing, you know, all that. So for me, I have a bias there, but, you know, trying to look at it unbiasedly, even I still appreciate and like it because I feel like, you know, Q-Tip has given us so much, man. I mean, everything he's given us with the Tribe Called Quest, dope. Like it helped pioneer so much, influence so much that I'm okay with giving him now his creative space to do what he wants to do. Like you want to make some club hits now and you want to, you know, make some joints that get the women moving. Do it, man. Do it. And he did it his way, which is still, I applaud and give him props for, especially when people might not understand it at the time or think like you're selling out or whatever, going commercial. But, you know, he had the guts to just trust himself and do it, and work with J Dilla and make these new sounds. And it was cool. And even him further experimenting, like, cause after this, you would think he would follow it up with another hip hop thing. He did jazz, neo soul, you know, which was completely left field.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I like that. To me, that's like a prequel even of what Tribe Called Quest was. Cause Tribe Called Quest was like a fusion of jazz, hip hop.
Oh, where they circle back, like we're kind of circles back around
it feels
around
like
to
that. Yeah. It feels
Okay.
like he did like a prequel almost to that. And that was dope. But even in that, I heard a lot of artists, you know, after him sound similar, like, you know, Andre 3000's like track when he did Hey Ya, Hey
Yeah.
Ya. I heard a track that Q-Tip did on his Kamal the Abstract that sounded similar to that. And so I'm thinking, man, people weren't ready. They weren't ready for it yet.
Yeah.
Until, when Outkast did it. So just, man, I feel like this guy's ahead of his time. Even the fact that he found Megan Thee Stallion, that whole thing was...
Yeah, and where his stamp of approval really didn't go far for her. And it's like, no, like, I vouched for her. Like, what else do you need? Like, what other letter of recommendation do you need?
Yeah.
And now people are looking at the fact that, oh, look who you missed out on.
Right.
And it's good to rub in people's faces because it's a friendly reminder of like, hey, look at the track record.
Exactly. So for people to know, like, I guess he found Megan Thee Stallion early and he was like, oh, this girl's dope. And it's funny because there's even interviews of him talking about her before she was famous and all that. He's like, oh, I'm excited about this girl, Megan Thee Stallion. You guys don't know yet. But anyways, he was trying to shop for her to get a deal, and the executives turned it down. Didn't turn it down, but they offered it so like a minimum deal that it was insulting almost.
Yeah,
and and Abstract was just like, nah, forget it, man. You're gonna do that to me? You're gonna do that to me, man? And they just looked at the data and they were like basing their decision off the data, and they were like,
wouldn't be the first time that happened at
exactly. So he discovered Megan Thee Stallion before she was even a thing. So, I mean, that shows you he has an ear for talent. Yeah, he has an ear for it. So overall, man, if you haven't listened to this album, we recommend to check it out and give it a chance. Give it a chance and look at it from an artist's perspective, realizing that he produced these with J Dilla. If you like J Dilla, give this a chance.
Yeah.
And also consider the fact that he's writing all this. He's having to deliver all of it. There's so much pressure from him doing his solo debut thing. He wants to have a commercial success. It also is, something playable with the ladies. So like, ladies don't want to always hear lyricism and all that junk. They want something that makes you move.
Yeah.
Abstract did a perfect balance of that on this album. So. Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah, with two of them would be the stop a vibrant thing for sure.
Really quick before we leave, Mark, tell them a little bit about the pins that you got for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to head over to the notoriouspin.com. That's the website of my business where I sell pins. I have little different pins from all around the way, whether it be a 90s pop culture, video game related pins, just stuff that you guys would like and take interest in for some added flair, whether it be on your backpack, your hat, wherever you guys collect pins. Heck, I even have pins on various court boards that I just collect for myself too. Also, we are also available on Instagram at El Notorious Pin. But again, you guys can also order and check out the website too at thenotoriouspin.com.
Yeah, check him out. Mark got a lot of dope pins. Mark's always been, a curator of like different like pop culture things that are like cool nostalgia pieces now. Yeah. You were very early on that, a long time ago. So you've been doing it for a while. So check that out.
Speaking of doing it for a while, we missed our 1 year anniversary.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, we did.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I want to at least give us a moment for us to be like, just at least thank the audience.
Wow, that's funny.
We're currently at 428 subscribers. We cherish every single sub that we do have.
Yep, that's for sure.
This has been a year plus in the making now, considering what we've gone through and accomplished. We got 50 episodes. We've done an episode every week. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I also want to let you guys know that if you guys ever do decide to do a venture, it takes the consistency, it takes the effort, and takes the hard work to get it done. And as long as I'm still going, I just subtly mentioned it on my Instagram story that, dude, like, I've done podcasting and radio since 2008.
Yeah, and dude, it's like, that's crazy.
And I just, this is the last hurrah for me. Yeah. So I really want to see this through, and just like a whole year into it, it just went like a blink, but it's been so much fun.
It's crazy.
Also consider where you're getting your hip hop information from. Because every 5 episodes we kick a freestyle at the end, and I would be hard pressed to find anyone that's cutting freestyles at the end of every 5 episodes.
And peace to, we got 2 individuals who I'll shout out on that episode who gave us or who are providing some beats for us to freestyle to, and so we'll shout them out and if anybody out there makes beats, produce beats, and you want to see your beats on the show that we're going to freestyle to, hit us up in, I guess you can hit us up on our Instagram and let us know. We are welcoming that, and we will happily give the shout out and respect your wishes as far as like the use of it and everything like that. We're strictly going to keep it to the episode and to the podcast that we're doing. So
let us catch wreck to your beats.
Yeah, that would be pretty ill. So piece to that. But to the anniversary thing, I just want to say that, man, you're right. It went by so quick. And I think that I've learned a lot, I thought I knew a lot before in hip hop, but constantly learning more and more about music, and it's helped me in my own journey in hip hop, and I hope it's helped others in their journey in hip hop, and just appreciating the legends that we have, just giving our 2 cents on these artists and the legends. Because I before I didn't see a lot of people out there doing it like the way we're doing it with the focus on hip hop, and the focus on the artists and the lyrics and the music. There's a few out there, but not like the way we're doing it. We started this from a genuine place. I think whenever we do, hang it up, it'll be from a genuine place. I'm getting a fresh call. But
it's Spotify. They're like, we want to give you guys a deal.
We actually want to sponsor you guys right now. But that's one thing that I'm looking forward to, this growing to the point where, hey, we could get a sponsorship and, maybe not even have to work or something. As far as work in the industry, you know what I mean? But work at doing what we love to do.
Getting paid to run our yaps.
Yeah. So, thanks for everybody for supporting, for sharing, for commenting, for keeping this thing alive.
Peace to Wordsworth.
Yeah, to Wordsworth, Tone Deaf.
Yes.
Even Master Ace.
Ayatollah.
This has been a pretty crazy year, man. I would have never in a million years thought any of those guys would have ever heard our stuff or, but that's very humbling. So
yeah, man.
We march on, man.
Yes. The road to 500,000 subscribers marches on.
Let's go.
To the MCs, if you drop a mic, drop a like.
Such a vibrant thing.
Such a vibrant like. Like that thing. Sub to that thing.
Such a sub to that thing. Sub to that thing.
Sub and stop. Oh no, wait. Sub and like. For real.
Stop.
And give it what you got.
Stop and
comment what you got.
For real. Comment what you said.